Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we help you unlock your potential freedom through land investing, real estate investing, and entrepreneurship. Hey everyone, this is episode 120 of the Real Estate Investing Podcast, discussing why wholesalers are now choosing land investing. I'm your host, Daniel Apke, joined again by my brother and business partner, Ron Apke. Before we get into the show, let's go over a question from one of our featured Discord members. Today's question is from Mary and Ann. Has anyone bought two adjacent parcels spanning in two states? How complicated is this on the buy end? Is it hard to sell? We have contract for 16 acres split in Tennessee and Kentucky. So it's one property run in two different states, split pretty much in half from what we saw.
Yeah, and we went over this in our call yesterday. Very interesting situation, but I guess it happens if you do enough deals, without doubt. This is something we've never ran into, but you can find, so ideally you find an attorney on the border who can work in both states. Like, that is the ideal situation. There's going to be no headache in selling this or anything like that. The only headache's going to really come with the attorney stuff if you have to use two separate attorneys to buy. Hopefully, like I said, you can find one who is licensed in both states for real estate deals, either on whatever side of the border. Call some and explain the situation. They'll let you know how they can help. But if I would definitely aim for that, since you don't want a seller having to sign documents from two different attorneys. But if you can't do that, that's going to be the situation. But other than that, Daniel, I don't see any issue with trying to sell a property like that, or really any other hiccups other than the title work.
What about taxes, Ron, for the future buyer?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be taxed from, it's not really state taxes. You'll have your county taxes, your property taxes from two separate parcels. It's just going to be from two separate parcels, and you're going to get taxed from two separate counties since you're in separate states. But I don't see anything being long-term like an issue. Like, it's just two separate tax bills.
Cool. All right, Ron. Well, let's get into the show. Why wholesalers are now choosing land investing. We've seen this over and over again. Wholesaling the last 3, 4 years, 5 years has been one of those hot topics. Tons of people getting into it, high competition. And for whatever reason, Ron, they're now choosing land investing. We have so many wholesalers in the group as members, people in the group on our comments on YouTube. I see them all commenting, how do I wholesale land? All these wholesalers, that's the key buzzword, wholesalers. So we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah, and the majority of wholesalers, as we know them, aren't in land. We're talking about wholesalers coming over from wholesaling houses, flipping houses. And what we see, the common thing that they all say is competition is driving them away. The big dogs in wholesaling are fine. They are making a ton of money in wholesaling, but the smaller companies that got in the last 12 months, 24 months, who might not have the operations and the systems to close some of these deals with extreme competition, is driving them towards something with 10% of the competition, maybe less than that, which is land. And that's what we're seeing. That's the common theme that I'm seeing from all of them pretty much who are coming over here, is they see the opportunity and they see they're trying to get away from the heavily competitive house wholesaling business.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I own rental properties, Ron, in Cincinnati, as you know, and I get text all of the time from wholesalers just for whatever property it is, just asking if I own any properties that I'm looking to sell or giving me an offer on a property. That's just all the time. Like, the competition is there. It makes a lot of sense, Ron, because that buzzword, like, you look at the YouTube real estate trending real estate videos, and the last 3 years have been just wholesale, wholesale, wholesale. There's not a lot of money in wholesaling anymore. I mean, you can do it at the top, obviously, and if you take it very seriously, you can do it. It works. I know people who do it full time, but it is a lot of work for much more minimal results than what we're used to seeing. So the competition, like you said, is completely driving these people away. And this is from not people looking at wholesaling versus land. This is people who were wholesaling houses and they're sick of it, and now they're coming to land. That's what we're mainly seeing.
Exactly. It's house wholesalers who are coming to land because of the competition. But they also, let's talk about the opportunity they see in land. Like, they see the growth opportunity. They see that, and with opportunity is like a less competitive industry, but they also, one of the things I always hear from them, Daniel, is them talk about our margins. Like, for us to be able to buy something for $40,000-$50,000 and sell it for $110,000 without doing any work to the land is unbelievable to them. And they see it, and some of them don't believe it. And then some of them come in and they are bought into it and they believe it. And those are, I think the margins are what kind of is bringing them in, the opportunity and margins.
Definitely the margins. I mean, they're used to making $5,000 to $15,000 on an assignment fee versus with the same work versus the margins that we're seeing, which is doubling our money. And I think Ron, the main difference here to point out is people. So you're wholesaling or house flipping, right? You need to acquire things under market value. People live in these houses. It's much easier to evaluate the price of a house, Ron, and they live in the house. Land is not their necessity. So when these people need money, and they live out of state, they live miles from the property, they've never been there. Maybe they inherited the property, Ron. But when that money gets tight and they need money, land is one of the first things they look to liquidate because it is a strong, big asset. They know they can sell it and liquidate it, and they're not using it a lot of times. Like it's not like it's their house or their shelter or food or water. They don't need it for like their survival. At the end of the day, they don't. And I think that's one of the big differences I wanted to point out. But less competition. I also want to put on, Ron, wholesalers typically are have staff or do it in person. So they don't do it 100% online. It's from what I've told, it's decently hard to do online. I think it is possible, so I don't want to say it's not. But I know most of the successful wholesalers I know do it in their local markets and go to the properties, inspect the properties, meet with people, and all that stuff. So I don't want to say it's impossible, but traditionally that's the route they go.
That's a good point that I didn't think of. Like you can do this from your couch, from your desk, and do this anywhere in the country with land. And there's so much that brings so much more opportunity. Let's say you live in a market that just wouldn't be suitable for land investing or something like that. Like it's fine. You can do it across the country from wherever you are. So that obviously you have millions and millions and millions of parcels in the United States to work from. And that's another thing they do talk about, Daniel, is they're having to go evaluate houses or going to look in person to inspect and all that. It's a lot of work because houses. I can review most land from my computer without getting someone out to land. We still do it, but with houses, like you do not know what's going on inside that house, under that house, in the walls until you get someone there to actually look at it. So I think that part of it, there's more operational stress on it.
There is. It's harder. It's. I don't want to say houses are harder to evaluate because they're not. Like you have all the data, but you need to see what's inside. So that is another barrier, Ron, because it can take a house, at least around here, like a nicely done 3-2, say 1,500 square feet could be, if it's really nicely done in a decent area, 700, 600, $600,000 in a decent area, right? Versus if it's not nicely done in that same area, that thing's going to be like $400,000. So it swings very, very heavily, I think, Ron. Um, the next thing I want to talk about too is sustainability with land investing because we're talking about the opportunity that they've seen, Ron. The sustainability is a big part of this for those wholesalers to come in. They think it's more sustainable. We're getting them a cash offer in their hands. It's very sustainable what we do. I wanted to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Rarely do they come in and kind of sometimes wholesalers will come in and try to like not question our methods, but ask like why do we buy the land? And that's one thing where it becomes more sustainable because we have cash, because we have funding partners, and we can get these sellers their money so fast. And yeah, I think sustainability comes with like such little competition, Dan. I think that goes hand in hand. Like it is long term. Learning land, being a land expert in this country is going to make a ton of people millionaires, a ton of people 5, 10, 15, $20 million of their over their lifetime or per year, whatever it is. And I think learning land, and they see the value in learning something that so few people know or understand.
Exactly. I like it. Well, Ron, what do we see in successful wholesalers who transition to land? Because they're starting to become some of our best members. We're seeing it are those past wholesalers because they knew the grind of wholesaling. To make $100,000 in wholesaling, they were grinding. So they come in and they keep that grind mode up. They go full force. They're sending their mail. They're following up. They're doing all the stuff that we preach and teach. And they start to do very well. And that $100,000 now they make from one deal in land, Ron, or a couple of deals in land. So, I mean, it's true, it's happening. So, what do we see the successful wholesalers who transition to land? Is it just that grinding consistency because they're used to that high? When things are highly competitive, you have to grind that much harder. Ron, think of when you were a freight broker, like when
Yep.
they had 20 other people calling them that same day trying to get their business.
Yeah, I think one of the things, or one of the main things that I see them be successful with is buying into the process. Like buying into the process that land is not the easiest thing to actually wholesale. If they come in and say, I'm going to wholesale land, like you're going to, I think you're going to struggle. It's going to put more strain on your operations. Well, if you come in and like, I'm going to learn land really well, I'm going to get some funding partners who can fund my deals. I'm fine splitting profits or anything like that. I want to get some deals, and that's the best way to do it. Those people who buy into that part of the process are who I'm seeing be very successful. And I have these consultations with them before they join, and a lot of times, and I know when I have those conversations, like what their mindset is in regards to that, whether they see a purpose. Some of them say they don't see a purpose in us buying the land. Those are the ones who usually don't become successful because they try to wholesale land, which is a very, very difficult thing. While others come in and have the mindset of, I'm going to get some funding partners. I'm going to get $500,000 behind me with some funding partners, and I'm going to do this over and over again. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to service the sellers, get them their money in 2 weeks, and I understand this process. So those are the two differences that I see.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. So it comes down to like the mindset and buying in rather than coming and trying to install something that's never been done or we've tried and doesn't really work too well. But I do want to touch on that, Ron. Why is it hard to sell or why is it hard to wholesale land? It's primarily because if you guys are in urban areas, you can definitely wholesale to builders, contractors, whatever. Investors that are looking to develop. You can do it in urban areas. How we're doing it, we're in more rural America. That's where most of the land is. That's where you're buying 20 acres, 5 acres, 50 acres over and over again. So you can't just have a buyer's list. We have to list our property on the MLS. We have to list our property on all these different sites and market it, buy it ourselves. And then we have full control of the marketing, Ron. And there's not like just a buyer's list of a bunch of people looking to buy land in some rural Alabama county. There's just not. Versus when you're wholesaling in a city, Ron, you have a buyer's list of investors. You might only have 20 investors, but they're buying up 90% of the properties you're wholesaling. And they're looking for more properties there. It's not like in rural America, you're going to find buyers that are just looking to develop. It's people actually using this land, which makes it very hard to wholesale.
Yeah, it's just going to take more time. Like if you're trying to wholesale and post it up and find an end buyer or double close, whatever it is, it's going to take some time. It's going to do a disservice to the seller. You're going to lose sellers like that. If you really want to wholesale land, find land at 40% of what it's worth, buy for 22, and it's worth for $50,000. Call me, email me, DM me on Discord, and I'll pay you $5,000 all day. But you're going to lose a lot more money than funding with me, and then you split the profit and do some extra work on the back end. So that's a way where you can wholesale land if you call an investor like that, but you need to get the land so cheap because there is a lot of risk involved with it. Maybe that piece that I thought is worth $50,000 only sells for 40. I have plenty of room if I pay you $5,000 from that 22 you got it under contract with. But what I teach everyone to do is get a deal funder, partner with them, buy it for 22, sell it for 50, split $28,000 of profit, and you make 14 grand opposed to making $5,000 or whatever. It's more scalable in that end.
Much, much more scalable. That's a good point. We have bought from wholesalers before. And what we've done, Ron, we've bought a couple really big deals from wholesalers. I think that $200,000 deal we just bought was from a wholesaler. I can't remember what they got it for, but they had a decent assignment fee on there. And we were 100% fine with buying it at 200 because we knew it would sell for 350, 450, 500, whatever we thought at the time, Ron. I can't remember the number we were expecting it to. But we're completely fine with buying from wholesalers because we know how much money if it's going to double, it's going to double, and we're going to make our money. We'll buy it and make that $200,000 off that piece of property versus that wholesaler making 30 grand. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. We made 190,000 bucks off that property.
Exactly. Like it's just, and the people who bring us those deals are not land specialists. So it's someone they might be buying a house from and wholesaling a house. And then they also like, this person also like, I have this piece of land. Do you guys have interest in it? And then that's when they'll reach out to people like us who are more experts in land, and we'll make money. They'll make some money. But if you're trying to transition to land, having the mindset of getting deal funding or paying for yourself, whatever it is, but buying the properties outright is the mindset to have. And that's what we see from the successful people who transition.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't have much more to add, Ron.
No, that I think that was good. I think it's growing as far as people coming over from wholesaling. They see the opportunity, but there's still so much land out there and so many deals out there to be had. But yeah, I don't have anything to add in.
There's more money in it, more upside, more profit potential. It's easier and it's very sustainable, guys. As always, thank you guys so much for joining. If you have guys already not, please leave a review on Apple Podcast. It really helps our grow our business and we really appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining and we'll see you guys next episode.
Thanks, guys.